Captain Naira watched her life's work dissolve into chaos as the bioquantum drive's emergency alerts bathed the bridge in crimson light. The astral seeker, pride of the Seteran Science Academy, shuddered as another wave of quantum destabilization tore through its systems. Secondary containment failing. First Engineer Trill's neural fronds pulsed with distress as she worked the crystalline control interface. The drive's biological matrix is rejecting the quantum harmonics. We're losing cohesion across all fields. Naira's translucent skin rippled with stress patterns as she studied the sensor readings. They were too far from any Seteran outpost and their revolutionary bioquantum drive, the first successful merger of organic and quantum technology, was eating itself alive. The nearest system on their charts was Sol, home to a primitive species that had barely achieved basic spaceflight. What are our options, Trill? Naira's 4 eyes focused on her engineer, hoping for better news than the alert suggested. The drive will collapse completely within 6 hours. The biological components are degrading faster than we can regenerate them. Trill's neural fronds drooped. We need a stable facility for emergency repairs. Without one, she left the implications hanging in the recycled air. Sol is our only option, Second Navigator Zin noted, his crystalline exoskeleton catching the light of the emergency beacons. Though their technology is barely past fusion drives, they might not even detect us before we crash into their atmosphere. Naira felt the weight of command press down on her shoulders. The astral seeker carried research that could revolutionize interstellar travel. If they lost the ship, decades of work would vanish. But seeking help from pre-quantum species, the Academy would never approve. Another violent tremor rocked the ship. Multiple breaches in the quantum containment field. Trill's neural fronds went stark white with panic. We have minutes, not hours. Plot approach vector to Sol II, Naira commanded, her skin shifting to decision patterns. Open emergency channels on all primitive frequencies. The blue-green world grew larger on their view screen as they limped toward it on emergency power. To Naira's surprise, they received a response almost immediately. Unidentified vessel. This is Earth Space Control. We're tracking your quantum field instability. Transmitting coordinates for emergency landing at Facility 7. Support teams are standing by. The bridge crew froze. Quantum field instability. These primitives shouldn't even be able to detect such things, let alone measure them with enough precision to confirm their emergency. Captain, Zin's crystalline form vibrated with concern. Their tracking capabilities suggest technology far beyond their known level. Before Naira could respond, their sensors detected something even more impossible, a sophisticated quantum containment field extending from the surface, ready to envelope their failing drive. Receiving detailed landing protocols, Trill reported, her neural fronds twitching in confusion. These specifications, they're accounting for quantum harmonics we haven't even told them about. The astral seeker descended through Earth's atmosphere, guided by increasingly precise instructions from the surface. As they approached the designated facility, Naira's 4 eyes widened at the sight of advanced landing systems emerging from what had appeared to be empty desert. The quantum containment field wrapped around their ship with a precision that rivaled Seteran technology. They touched down with surprising gentleness, considering their failing systems. Through the viewports, Naira watched as vehicles approached. Vehicles that looked deceptively primitive until her sensors revealed the quantum field manipulators hidden beneath their ordinary exterior. A human engineering team is requesting permission to board, Zin announced. Their containment suits, Captain, they're operating on quantum principles we barely understand. Naira's skin shifted through patterns of confusion and curiosity. Everything they knew about Earth suggested a species still struggling with basic space travel. Yet here they were, casually wielding technology that should be centuries beyond their reach. Grant them access, she decided, but remain alert. I suspect we're about to learn why Earth has maintained such a convincing facade of primitive technology. The airlock cycled, and 3 humans entered the bridge. Their containment suits looked simple, but Naira's enhanced vision detected layers of quantum field manipulation that made her scientific curiosity surge. The leader, a tall female with silver-streaked hair, stepped forward with casual confidence. "Captain Valeth, Dr. Sarah Chen, Quantum Engineering Division. We detected your drive's quantum biological desync from orbit. Interesting design, but you've got some serious cascade failures in the organic matrices. We can help, though you might want to consider some major upgrades while we're at it." The casual way she discussed their most advanced technology made Naira's skin ripple with disbelief. "You understand our bioquantum systems?" Dr. Chen smiled, already reviewing diagnostic data on a device that shouldn't exist on Earth. "Oh, we moved past straight quantum bio-integration about 15 years ago. These days we prefer a tripartite approach: quantum, biological, and consciousness-linked systems working in true harmony. But first, let's stop your drive from collapsing and taking half the state with it, shall we?" Dr. Chen's team moved through the Astral Seeker's engine room with disturbing familiarity, their supposedly primitive scanning devices interfacing seamlessly with Ceteran technology. Naira watched as they bypassed security protocols that should have been impenetrable, their movements suggesting years of experience with quantum systems far more advanced than anything on her ship. "Your bioquantum integration is elegant," Dr. Chen remarked, studying the failing drive core. Her fingers danced across the crystalline control surfaces as if she'd been born to them. "But you're fighting the quantum states instead of embracing them. See these rejection patterns in the biological matrix." Trill's neural fronds twisted in confusion. "Fighting them? The entire point of our design is to force quantum coherence through biological channels. That's your first mistake." One of Chen's assistants, a younger human named Rodriguez, emerged from an access tunnel. "Quantum states aren't meant to be forced. They're meant to be guided, invited to participate in the biological dance. Watch." He pulled out a device that looked deceptively simple, until Naira's sensors detected the impossible readings emanating from it. The quantum fields around the drive core shifted, and suddenly the biological rejection rates dropped by half. "How did you?" Trill's neural fronds went rigid with shock. "That's not possible without a complete redesign of the quantum matrices. Unless," Dr. Chen smiled, "you understand that consciousness itself is a quantum phenomenon. Your biological systems aren't just containers for quantum effects. They're active participants in quantum reality." The implication staggered Naira. The Ceteran Science Academy had theorized about consciousness quantum integration for centuries, but it had always remained firmly in the realm of theoretical physics. Yet here were humans, supposedly primitive humans, casually demonstrating mastery over principles her people had barely begun to grasp. "Your entire ship," Chen continued, "is trying to impose order on quantum chaos through brute force. It's like trying to control a storm by building bigger walls. We learned pretty quickly that it's better to dance with the storm, become part of it." The third human, a quiet woman named Zhang, was assembling something that made Naira's scientific instruments flash warning signals. It looked like a living crystal, growing and shifting through quantum states that shouldn't have been stable enough to exist. "This," Zhang explained, noticing Naira's attention, "is what we call a quantum consciousness bridge. It creates a direct interface between organic thought patterns and quantum probability fields. Would you like to see how it works?" Before Naira could respond, the crystal pulsed with inner light. The ship's failing systems suddenly stabilized, quantum fields smoothing out like a calm sea. Through her captain's neural link, Naira felt the Astral Seeker's systems in a way she never had before, not as separate mechanical components, but as extensions of consciousness itself. "Impossible," Zin whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with emotion. "The energy requirements alone." "That's because you're thinking in terms of external power sources," Rodriguez explained, making adjustments to systems Naira hadn't even known existed in her own ship. "Consciousness generates its own quantum fields. We just had to learn how to tap into them properly." The humans continued their work, each casual movement revealing depths of understanding that challenged everything Naira thought she knew about technological development. They spoke of quantum physics as if discussing simple mechanics, casually violating what her people considered fundamental laws of reality. Why maintain the pretense? Naira finally asked, watching as Chen's team transformed her engine room into something that belonged in science fiction. Why let the galaxy think you're primitive? Dr. Chen paused in her work, sharing a knowing look with her colleagues. Captain, have you ever wondered why Earth, despite its apparent technological limitations, has never been successfully invaded or colonized? The question hit Naira like a physical force. Stories circulated through the galaxy about failed attempts to establish dominion over Earth, attempts that had ended in mysterious disasters or unexplained disappearances. The galaxy's a dangerous place, Chen continued, her hands never stopping their work on the quantum systems. We learned early on that sometimes the best defense is to be underestimated. Besides, she smiled, it's amazing what you can learn about other species when they think you're too primitive to be a threat. As if to emphasize her point, Zhang activated another device, and suddenly, Naira could see the quantum probability fields that permeated everything. The humans weren't just working with technology. They were conducting a symphony of quantum possibilities, weaving consciousness and reality together in ways that redefined what she thought was possible. Your drive system is stabilized, Chen announced, but it's barely scratching the surface of what's possible. With your permission, we'd like to show you what your ship could really do. Naira looked at her crew, seeing her own mixture of fear and fascination reflected in their expressions. They had come to Earth expecting to find primitive allies of convenience. Instead, they had discovered masters of technologies their civilization had barely dreamed of. Show us, Naira decided, her skin shifting to patterns of determined curiosity. As she watched the humans begin their work in earnest, she couldn't help but wonder, if this was what Earth shared with friendly visitors, what other wonders did they keep hidden beneath their carefully maintained mask of primitiveness? The warning came as Dr. Chen's team was introducing the Ceteran crew to their third impossible breakthrough of the day. Deep space sensors, far more sophisticated than anything Earth should have possessed, detected a massive quantum disturbance at the edge of the solar system. Dreadnought-class vessel, Rodriguez announced, his hands flying over a control panel that seemed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Energy signature matches Corvin military patterns. They're not even trying to hide their approach. Naira's skin paled to a ghostly translucence. The Corvins were infamous throughout the galaxy, pirates and technology thieves who had somehow acquired military-grade ships and weapons. If they had tracked the Astral Seeker's unique quantum signature, they're after our bioquantum drive research, she stated, her four eyes narrowing with concern. Our breakthrough in organic quantum integration would be priceless on the black market. Dr. Chen didn't even look up from her work. Earth Space Control is already tracking them. Standard containment protocols are in effect. She spoke with the casual confidence of someone discussing the weather, not an impending attack by one of the most feared forces in known space. Standard containment. Trill's neural fronds twisted in disbelief. That's a Corvin dreadnought. Their quantum weapons can crack a planet's crust. Can they? Zhang smiled mysteriously, activating a holographic display that showed the approaching vessel in stunning detail. Let's test that theory. The Corvin ship dropped out of quantum space with the subtlety of a stellar explosion, its massive form bristling with weapons that could reduce continents to ash. A transmission burst across all frequencies, the captain's arrogant tone carrying even through the automatic translation. Primitive world, surrender the Ceteran vessel and its crew. Your pitiful defenses cannot hope to. The message cut off abruptly as something impossible happened. The space around Earth seemed to twist, reality itself folding into patterns that made Naira's scientific instruments scream in protest. Through the quantum-enhanced viewport, she watched as thousands of satellites shed their primitive disguises, revealing weapon systems that shouldn't have existed. You're watching our quantum defense grid in action, Rodriguez explained, seeming almost bored as he monitored the readings. Those aren't just weapons. They're quantum state manipulators. They don't just destroy targets. They edit them out of probability. The Korgan ship fired its main weapon, a quantum plasma hybrid beam that could vaporize cities. It never reached Earth's atmosphere. Instead, the beam encountered what looked like a ripple in space-time itself, its energy dispersing across 1,000 probable realities. Impossible, Zinn whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with shock. You're manipulating quantum probability fields on a planetary scale. Actually, Dr. Chen corrected, still focused on her modifications to the Astral Seekers systems, we're letting the quantum fields manipulate themselves. We just provide gentle suggestions about which probabilities might be more convenient for Earth's continued survival. The Korgan ship launched a barrage of quantum torpedoes, each one capable of creating localized singularities. Earth's defense grid responded with elegant precision. Space itself seemed to flow around the weapons, probability streams redirecting them into realities where they had never been fired. You might want to watch this next part, Zhang suggested, her fingers dancing across her control panel. It's always interesting to see how different species react to their first exposure to our probability cascade weapons. The defense grid pulsed with coherent quantum energy. For a moment, the Korvan dreadnought existed in all possible states simultaneously, intact, destroyed, never built, still in dry dock, converted to a pleasure cruiser. Then reality snapped back into focus, and the mighty warship simply ceased to be, as if it had chosen the probability where it had never arrived at Earth at all. Clean quantum dissolution, Rodriguez reported. No temporal backlash, no probability fragments. They'll wake up back in their home system, with only dreamlike memories of what happened here. Much neater than actually destroying them. Naira stared at the empty space where a Korvan dreadnought had been moments before. Her people's most advanced quantum theories hadn't even conceived of weapons that could edit reality itself. Yet Earth wielded such power with casual ease, hidden behind a mask of primitive technology. Why show us this? She asked, turning to Dr. Chen. Why reveal your true capabilities? Chen finally looked up from her work, her expression serious. Because what we're about to do to your ship will change everything you think you know about quantum physics. We needed you to understand that we're not just making wild claims, we're offering you a glimpse of what's possible when you stop fighting quantum reality and learn to dance with it instead. She gestured to the modifications taking shape in the Astral Seekers engine room. What had started as emergency repairs was transforming into something that made Naira's scientific mind reel with possibilities. Your ship, Chen continued, is about to become a prototype for a whole new kind of space travel. The question is, are you ready to help us show the galaxy that Earth's primitiveness was always by choice, not necessity? The Astral Seekers engine room had become unrecognizable. Where once stood the pride of Seteran bioquantum engineering, now pulsed something that defied conventional physics. Dr. Chen's team had spent 3 days implementing what they casually called basic upgrades, each hour revealing new impossibilities. The quantum consciousness matrices are integrating beautifully with your biological systems, Zhang announced, monitoring readings that made Trill's neural fronds twist in confusion. The engineer watched as living crystal grew through her ship's systems, forming neural pathways that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. But how are you maintaining quantum coherence? Trill demanded, her scientific curiosity overriding her disbelief. The energy requirements for this level of bioquantum integration should tear the ship apart. Rodriguez laughed softly, adjusting what appeared to be a living computer that phased between realities. You're still thinking in terms of conventional energy. Watch this. He placed his hand on a crystalline interface, and suddenly the ship's systems surged with power drawn from nowhere. Consciousness generates its own quantum field, Dr. Chen explained, noting Naira's stunned expression. We learned to tap into that field, using it as both an energy source and a stabilizing matrix for quantum effects. Your ship isn't just being upgraded, it's becoming conscious. As if to emphasize her point, the Astral Seeker's systems pulsed with new awareness. Naira felt it through her captain's neural link, not the simple machine responses she was used to, but something alive, aware, curious. The ship was awakening. "The quantum consciousness bridge is fully online," John reported. "Captain Valeth, would you like to experience what your ship can really do now?" Before Naira could respond, her neural link exploded with sensation. Through it, she perceived reality as she never had before. Probability streams flowing like rivers of light, quantum states shimmering with potential. The Astral Seeker wasn't just a ship anymore. It was an extension of her consciousness, a being that existed simultaneously across multiple dimensions. "Impossible," Zin whispered, his crystalline form resonating with the ship's new quantum harmonics. "We're perceiving quantum states directly. No instruments, no interfaces." "That's because you are the interface now," Dr. Chen said, monitoring the integration. "Your consciousness, the ship's growing awareness, the quantum fields, they're all part of the same dance. Distance, time, probability, they're all just suggestions when you understand the true nature of reality." To demonstrate, she activated what she called the probability drive. The Astral Seeker didn't move through space in any conventional sense. Instead, reality shifted around them, probability streams flowing like water until they simply existed at their destination, halfway to Saturn, without ever crossing the space between. How? Trill's neural fronds had gone stark white with shock. The power needed to manipulate probability fields on this scale is already present in consciousness itself, Rodriguez completed. You just need to know how to access it. Your bioquantum systems were on the right track, but you were trying to force quantum effects through biological channels. We've taught your ship to invite them instead. The transformation wasn't limited to the engines. Throughout the Astral Seeker, systems were evolving, becoming something that blurred the line between technology and life. Quantum computers that thought in possibilities rather than binary. Sensors that perceived reality across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Weapons that could edit aggressive intentions out of probability itself. But why? Naira asked, still reeling from the direct perception of quantum reality. Why share this technology with us? Why reveal capabilities that could dominate the galaxy? Dr. Chen's expression grew serious. Because the galaxy is changing, Captain. There are forces out there that make the Corvins look like children playing with toys. Forces that understand more about quantum reality than they should. Earth has maintained its primitive facade for centuries, letting us develop in peace, but that time is ending. She gestured to the transformed ship around them. What we've given you isn't just technology. It's an invitation. Earth is ready to emerge onto the galactic stage, but we prefer to do it with allies who understand what we're truly capable of. Allies who can help us guide the galaxy toward a deeper understanding of reality itself. Through her enhanced perception, Naira could sense the truth in Chen's words. The quantum streams showed her possibilities, futures where Earth's knowledge transformed civilization itself, and darker futures where that knowledge was misused with catastrophic consequences. Your ship is ready for final testing, Zhang announced. Would you like to see what it can really do now? Naira looked at her crew, seeing in their expressions the same mix of fear and exhilaration she felt. Their research vessel had become something that their civilization's greatest scientists couldn't have imagined. And this, Chen had implied, was just the beginning. Show us, Naira decided, her skin patterns shifting to display her determination. As the transformed Astral Seeker prepared to demonstrate its new capabilities, she couldn't help but wonder, what other mysteries did Earth hide beneath its carefully crafted mask of primitiveness? And what would it mean for the galaxy when those mysteries were finally revealed? The Astral Seeker hung in high Earth orbit, its hull shimmering with quantum possibilities. Through her enhanced consciousness link, Naira could feel her ship's eagerness to demonstrate its transformation. What had arrived as a failing research vessel was now something entirely new. a synthesis of Ceteran biotechnology and Earth's impossible quantum mastery. All systems are ready for the demonstration, Dr. Chen announced from her position at what had once been a conventional control panel. Now it was a living interface, responding to thought as much as touch. We'll start with basic spatial manipulation and work our way up to the more interesting capabilities. Naira felt the ship's consciousness merge more deeply with her own. Around them, reality became fluid, malleable. The astral seeker didn't so much move as choose which version of itself existed at any given point in spacetime. Remarkable, Trill whispered, her neural fronds dancing with excitement as she monitored the readings. We're not actually using any conventional energy for propulsion. The ship is simply selecting which probability becomes real. Exactly, Rodriguez confirmed. Traditional space travel is like walking across a room. What your ship does now is more like deciding it was already on the other side of the room and having reality agree. To demonstrate, the astral seeker flickered. Suddenly, they were beyond Mars' orbit, then near Jupiter, then in the Kuiper belt, each transition happening without any sensation of movement. They weren't traveling through space. They were editing their position in reality itself. But the defensive capabilities, Zhang added, are where things get really interesting. Captain, would you like to demonstrate the probability shield? Through her link with the ship, Naira activated the new defense systems. The astral seeker didn't generate energy shields in any conventional sense. Instead, it created a field where hostile actions became statistically impossible. Weapons fire would find itself having never been fired. Attacking ships would discover they had chosen different destinations. Of course, Dr. Chen noted, this is all just the beginning. Your ship isn't just equipment anymore. It's a growing, learning entity. The more you work with it, the more it will evolve. The more you understand quantum reality, the more possibilities will open up. But this raises a crucial question. Naira said, her skin patterns shifting to show her concern. What do we tell our people? The Ceteran Science Academy will want explanations, specifications, principles they can study and replicate. Chen shared a knowing look with her team. That's part of why we chose to reveal ourselves to you, Captain. Earth is ready to emerge from its self-imposed isolation, but we need allies who understand why we've kept our capabilities hidden. The galaxy is approaching a turning point. Through the quantum consciousness link, Naira perceived streams of probability stretching into possible futures. She saw civilizations grappling with power they weren't ready to control, reality itself straining under the abuse of quantum manipulation. There are entities out there, Chen continued, that have begun to grasp quantum manipulation without understanding its true nature. They see it as a tool to be controlled, a weapon to be wielded. They don't understand that quantum reality is alive, conscious, reactive. Their attempts to force it into submission could unravel the very fabric of space-time. Earth has spent centuries, Rodriguez added, developing our technology in harmony with quantum consciousness. We didn't climb the technological ladder. We danced with it, grew with it, learned to embrace the true nature of reality, rather than trying to impose our will upon it. The astral seeker pulsed with new understanding, its consciousness expanding as it grasped principles that Naira's purely organic mind could barely comprehend. Through their shared link, she felt it discovering new possibilities, new ways of interacting with quantum reality. Your ship, Zhang explained, will be a bridge between our civilizations, not just a demonstration of technology, but a living example of what's possible when we stop trying to conquer reality and learn to become part of its dance. Naira made her decision. Her skin patterns shifted to display absolute certainty as she addressed the human team. We'll need to approach this carefully. A sudden revelation of Earth's capabilities could destabilize the entire galaxy, but a gradual demonstration, starting with the principles we've already grasped. Exactly, Chen smiled. Your bioquantum research gives you the perfect foundation. You can introduce these concepts naturally, as evolved extensions of your existing work. Earth will emerge gradually, revealing our capabilities as the galaxy becomes ready to understand them. The astral seeker hummed with approval, its consciousness resonating with the rightness of the decision. Through their link, Naira felt it processing quantum possibilities, exploring potential futures, learning and growing in ways that no mere machine could. "It's time," she announced. "Let's show the galaxy what humanity has been quietly perfecting all these years. Not as conquerors, not as superiors, but as teachers ready to help others understand the true dance of reality." As the transformed ship prepared to return home, Naira reflected on how much had changed since their emergency landing. They had arrived seeking basic repairs from a primitive world. They were leaving with a ship that defied physics, an understanding that rewrote everything they thought they knew about reality, and an alliance that would reshape the galaxy. Earth's long masquerade as a primitive world was ending. But its legacy, the patience to develop technology in harmony with quantum reality, the wisdom to hide that development until the right moment, and the generosity to share it with those ready to understand, would echo through civilization forever. The astral seeker chose a new probability stream, and reality shifted around them. They had a galaxy to teach, and the dance was just beginning.